Hello and welcome to the Just Another Castle podcast. I'm your host Matt, and I'm the only one who didn't watch the Super Bowl last night, partly because I'm Canadian, but mostly because I don't give a crap. And here with me this week is Eli
Hello there.
and Unoclay.
Who sort of watched the Super Bowl, but mostly ate chips and got in an argument with some person at the party that I wasn't a fan of. So I sort of had like a Super Bowl of debates. So,
Did you
hey,
get?
Eli lives where the Super Bowl like winners are from, don't you? Well, you're originally from
Well,
where?
not yeah. I mean, right now I live in Michigan, but yeah, I mean, Denver is stoked, and I was really excited that the Broncos won. That was really awesome.
What was it like at your school? Were people like kind of against the Broncos, or were
No,
they kind of
actually,
or whatever?
surprisingly, most of Michigan State was cheering for the Broncos. I felt like a lot of them were on Peyton Manning's side. Like they wanted to see him finish his career and legacy in a good light. So most people were cheering out for the Broncos along with me.
Right on, right on. That's cool. I had no stake in the matter. I was like, I like both countries. I like both
Yeah.
states. So like my most involved interest of the entire night, honest to God, was when the Pokemon commercial came on because I thought of you guys and was like, dude, there's Pokemon on the TV, and all my friends are like, Pokemon still exists, and I'm like, yeah, dude, and my
Yeah,
friends like it.
they had the drums in the background. Poop, 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 poop.
So there's the news for this week. There was a Pokemon commercial on
Yeah.
U.S. television.
If you didn't get into a fight, it wasn't a party.
Well, I normally don't, but my wife pointed out, she's like, I thought I was going to have to make you leave because it was getting a
Oh
little
man,
vocal and loud. And
you
I
gonna
went
start a
to,
bar brawl?
it was like at my friend's house, so it was really
Oh
awkward.
man.
And two of his guests were like, we weren't fans of each other. Let's leave it at that.
Oh
So
gosh.
it was good times, good times. It was a super brawl for sure. So that's my Super Bowl story.
Good stuff. So I guess we'll go on to what we've been playing this week. I've mostly been playing Pokemon. I'm still trying to catch them all, if you will. I'm only missing like one or two legendaries because in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the remakes, the three legendaries they have in there, they have extra moves that are new to that game specifically, so you can't just trade them backwards. So I have to go on their online trading system and uh, be able to trade with a completely new one. I can't just port over mine. So I'm trying to desperately get like the last ones. I guess because it's been a while since both games came out and not many people are on it. Because I used to be able to trade a bunch of Milotics for some other stuff, and now it's really hard to get anyone to trade. So I'm just like hoping someone will pass up something for something. Um, I think I got like 20 to 30 new ones, and I'm down to like I need less than 100, so that's going. I'll eventually get it. Um, but also something that came out this week was the Smash Brothers DLC, the last bit with Corn and Bayonetta. I've been playing some of that. Have you guys gotten to check it out yet, or?
No, I haven't played Smash Bros. In a little while, so
Fail.
yeah.
I haven't downloaded them yet because I'm specifically focusing on some like training that I'm sort of using it as like bait to myself to download the final two characters, but I have to do some really boring training for a while because
Mhm.
Mike would be here and have some stuff to weigh in on this maybe if he joins later. But I like basically my game lacks enough short hop forward air type action, so I need to like I just literally am drilling myself back and forth on the stage, like learning to short hop and do forward air and back airs like for tactical reasons because I realize when I fight other people they're doing it to me the whole time and I don't use it in the correct way. But I did fight someone who is a fairly active my IGN Cookie Monster. She's the one who always writes all those Fire Emblem blogs and things on my IGN for the listeners. Giving her a shout out because we were training quote together the other night in the middle of the night, and she was using what's the character's name? Corin, the new
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah, she was using Corin, and she's just known to be a really good smasher already. And I know she favors the Fire Emblem characters, and she just was mopping the floor with me. It was kind of awesome because I can sense that I've gotten better in the year or so that I've just been completely playing a ton of Smash 4. But she is like one of those people that just kind of intuitively great, and it's like a brand new character, and she just is like whooping all over on me and stuff with it. So it was cool. It was a way to witness the character. I hadn't watched any videos, so I liked it. She seems cool. I might download her because she seems different than the other sword fighters in the game to some degree. So you got them both, Matt?
Yeah, Corn's a mix of both. It's like somewhat the same, but she also has her own different moves to make her a bit different. Um, I think they're both pretty cool. I haven't gotten to play like a ton. I basically just beat Classic and All-Star mode with both of them.
Mm-hmm.
All-Star mode, you don't test your skills. It's just like beat them as fast and quickly as possible. There's no, especially because I just put on easy mode so I can just get through it and get the trophy because that's all I want from that. But no, I'm excited to try them a bit more. Bayonetta is really cool because like the game, if you hold the standard or the A button or whatever after basically any move, she'll like shoot with her guns.
Mm-hmm.
So you could do like a whatever any type of move except for I think the specials or the smash moves or
Interesting.
smash attacks. But it's really cool. Like you can do
So it's
flips
like,
in the air and she'll you can just press it and she'll do a normal move or hold it and she'll like fire her guns out.
is it something similar to like if you would needle somebody with Sheik, perhaps, like really low damage, like
Yeah,
projectiles or something like that? Is what
yeah,
I'm imagining.
exactly. It does like after she shoots X amount of bullets, but it's between 5 and 10% damage
Right. Oh,
depending on what
sounds
you do.
cool. Yeah, that does
Yeah.
sound neat. Like kind of like the way they made Ryu have his own, unique factor that you have to roll the controller to do the right, the correct version of the moves, and the way that they've really gone out of the way to like the DLC comes with some kind of like conceptual content to some of the characters. That's cool.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, her dual weapon system sounds like her unique feature in a way. So that's cool.
Yeah. I really like the stage too. It's not even though it is flat like most other areas, just the environment itself looks really cool. Like you're on a broken piece of a clock tower
Yeah.
that's like falling to its doom. Like
Yeah.
it's just a really cool set piece.
When I was playing Cookie Monster the other night, that stage came up, and since I didn't own it, I'd never played it before, and it really screwed me up. And I did lose a match, and I had to so-called John a little bit. That I was like, well, uh, I quite honestly thought one of the backgrounds was a platform. And when
Hmm.
I was coming back for recovery and she was waiting for me, I went to like swerve because I thought one of the falling pieces was something I could land on, and it was in fact just background, and I just totally lost the stock, and I'm totally claiming it, I'm like, I thought background was real, I don't know the stage, and I'm realizing it makes no difference. I take like one stock you take three off me for every one, so it's not the biggest factor, but it did look really intense graphically, like one of those things I'm gonna have to play to really get my head around.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad the enemies in the background don't like come in and attack and mess up the stage because I do think the floating platforms are kind of cool,
Yeah.
even if they're simple.
Yeah.
So Eli, have you gotten to play anything this week, or are you busy with college stuff?
Well, today I got Fire Emblem in the mail.
Oh, nice.
So I'm about half an hour into that.
Have they
Uh,
have they said when it's supposed to be coming out in the States?
it's next Friday, I think.
Okay, yeah, they did put out a release. Oh yeah, because I was talking about the DLC before. Yeah, you're right, they did put out a date. Anyway, go on.
So yeah, so I've been playing that, and by playing that I mean before the podcast, as I said, I played for like half an hour.
Hmm.
And so far it seems pretty cool. Tutorial stuff mostly, so I can't really speak to much of the game and what it's about. I would stay tuned for next week, I guess, when I can give you a much more in-depth analysis.
Hmm.
But I can tease you by the fact that I have the special edition, and the art book is really cool.
Nice.
That comes with that special edition. It also comes with 3DS XL carrying case, so now I have that for my 3DS XL as well.
Sweet.
So since I wasn't able to play with any of these new shiny Smash Bros. Characters, I can brag about my cool stuff that I got.
The
Um,
only bummer is you're gonna have to play Fire Emblem now. Just kidding. Just totally kidding. I liked the one I played. It was kind of cool or whatever. Are you a big fan of that series?
well, yeah, I've played a few. Well, I wouldn't say huge fan because I haven't played a lot of the games, but the ones that I have played, I've really liked. I think I've played 3 of the games, if I'm counting correctly. I don't know. Um, and so I like them, and I like how they're structured.
Are you
And
reviewing
this
that game?
what?
Are you doing a review for that game?
Yes, I'm writing the review for our site. It's 3 games in one for $80, for the special edition. Each one's like 40 hours long, so I think I'm gonna kill myself this next week.
Yeah, I
Because
was
I have
gonna
10
say, I'm
days to
like,
play through 3 Fire Emblem games.
I was gonna say, like, is that enough time? I'm like, a week.
No,
That's supposed to be
luckily
long.
we
If
had
you
another writer who got so there's Conquest, Birthright, and Revelation, and
Yeah.
so I've got all 3, but one of our writers got Birthright,
Hmm.
so I might ask him to review Birthright, and then I'll do Conquest, and then we'll get like Revelation up later because it launches later for everyone except the special edition holders.
Hmm.
It launches I think like a month or 2 later, so I think it'll be okay if I get that review up a little later.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely split it up. Or at the very least, have like one person review and one person give like the thoughts on or the story differences or whatever it is.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say if you play that much, if you didn't hate Fire Emblem already, you're gonna hate it soon enough. If you play that much of it, you're gonna be like, "Good God, this over dramatic dialogue. I'm out of here." No, I am always tempted to play those games. They look so cool. They get to high reviews. The one on 3DS, like I think Pear from my is always saying how it's literally his favorite 3DS game, and it holds up, and everyone says that. It's hard for me to get into the narrative. I just want to get to the game, and I know I'm missing a lot with that attitude. So it's not. I haven't spent the money on one yet, so we'll see.
I
Yeah.
like how the 3 paths are: you go with your blood relatives, you go with the people who raised you, or you just say screw all of you and like go on your own path.
I don't.
Apparently, I'm like, what the heck? How does that work?
Yeah, I didn't
Well,
even know
yeah,
that
Is are
was
both
I
of the families your enemies now?
Yeah, I don't know how Revelations works. We'll see. So far, it seems like the story is like in the 3 chapters that I've played out of like 28. It seems like you're like the family you're growing up with is not your birth family, and your father figure's kind of like a dick. And he tells you to go like he's really harsh. Like in the first battle, like you defeat the enemy soldiers, and he like commands you to kill everyone on the field, even though
Jeez.
like that's not the humane thing to do. And then then the other side, the people you're fighting are your actual birth family. And then I think at around chapter 6, I get to choose which side I'm on. Um, so we'll see. I also, Nintendo's release calendar kind of sucks right now. I don't know if that's in the news, but it's terrible. But I am looking forward to playing, once I'm done with Fire Emblem, I'm looking forward to playing Unraveled. That looks really cool.
Yeah, I saw the review for that. The graphics just look amazing,
Yeah.
and it looks really cute using your yarn and or the wool or whatever the heck people are using nowadays. But just the like puzzle mechanics to it reminds me of Limbo a lot.
Is this a sequel to Yoshi's Woolly World?
Not
Yeah.
Sorry,
quite.
it's a Nintendo podcast. I gotta make a Nintendo joke.
So Uno Clay, what have you been up to?
I was out quite a bit this past week, so I wasn't playing as many games as normal. Nothing too new to report over here. I think I set a new high score in Pac-Man Championship Edition, got
Nice.
255,000. So I feel pretty good about that. I'm starting to get to the point where I might be hitting the limit of my skill level with that game. More Watch Dogs, big game, as I've been mentioning, delving into that as much as I can. I don't know how long the campaign is, but with all the side quests and stuff, side activities you can do, it's just like any other sandboxing game. Just so much to do that you can just spend an hour screwing around or doing little acquisitions or little different things in the game. So that takes up a lot of time every time I sit down. I'll just play an hour without even thinking about it, and I'll find out I was just driving around wrecking cars and laughing about it and stuff, like you do with those kind of games.
Mhm.
Um, I was playing a level in Yoshi's Woolly World. You had talked to me about. I'll fill in the podcasters. You had asked me had I beaten the secret world in World 3 of
Mhm.
Yoshi's Woolly World,
Yeah.
which if the listeners aren't aware, I think we've mentioned it before, but yeah, like any great Nintendo game, if you fully collect, I think it's all the flowers in every level of a standard world, then a special secret board opens up, just like in Donkey Kong Country, like
Mhm.
same idea, like the secret temples, and they're punishingly, well, not punishingly difficult, but they're much more difficult than the standard levels. And the one on World 3 is hilarious and really challenging. You would ask me if I'd beat it on Skype because you'd beaten it, and I
Mhm.
thought I must have beaten it because I thought, oh yeah, I'm on World 4, I've cleared everything. I just don't remember it. But when I went back and looked, I never even noticed the final temple on the side of the map. So I went over into it, and it's a match where you, for those who haven't played it, you have to ride the smoke trail of a bullet bill for the entire level, and so you have a finite moving platform you have to stay on basically, and you can kill the bullet bill if you're not careful, which happens all the time if you shoot an egg and it ricochets wrong or you're not paying attention. So you can actually kill your own platform, and you've automatically lost the level if you do that. Then on top of it, you've got enemies coming from every direction. You've got finite eggs, of course, that you're trying to harvest and shoot. And if you're being a collector completionist, you're also trying to like hop and dodge and grab everything in the world. And the scroll rate is pretty fast, so it's an auto scroll level effectively, and it's really good. It's one of those things that you're just like, this is classic Mario type, level design where you saved one of these stupid hard levels to hide in the backwaters of the world, like the Star Road in Super Mario World or something like that. And it's worthy. I managed to finish it with 3 out of the 4 collectibles complete, like with a gold star on them, but I missed on the gems, so I might go back to it at some point, or I might just bang my head against the desk because it's almost equally as fun. Uh, so, so I did that. But that's cool. And yeah, again, the people who might have missed episodes or don't listen religiously to our podcast, that game is underrated. Yoshi's Woolly World is not for kids. It's a really good game, kind of hidden inside a cute little shell of Nintendo yarn. Uh, however that comes off sounding. If that's your thing, get it. But it's a lot like a classic Yoshi game. It's probably, I don't think there's much debate, it would be one of the best Yoshi games in ages. And I found myself really enjoying it, taking my time with it, and going back to it here and there, and playing through another level, and realizing what great level design there is there. So, other than that, I played a little more Chariot with one of my good friends who is coming over a little later tonight. We'll probably work on that some more. It's a 2-player co-op game that came out maybe a year or more ago for Wii U. I think I might have mentioned it once, but it's called
Yeah.
Chariot again. And
Mm.
it's best for co-op. It's really a good co-op game if you got someone to play on the couch with it. I don't think it has online support. It's an on-couch 2-player work together game where you're trying to get the king's coffin to the graveyard, I believe is the plot. Yeah, so it's hilarious. You've
I
got his
thought it was
coffin.
just a carriage.
Yeah, no, it's not. The carriage is
Yeah.
actually his coffin, and the ghost of the king is inside it yelling at you, like, "What the hell? You keep dropping me!" It's really funny. But it's also really cool physics puzzler where you have to like use tethers and ropes and balance and all kinds of really creative thinking a lot of times to get through the level or to get all the collectibles and stuff. That there'll be special areas of the board where there's just something stupid ridiculous where they want to get the chariot, say, aka the coffin, up on top of a mountain, and there's like just no way to get up there. So you're doing these insane things where you're like tethering and making ropes and climbing, like kind of like you kind of use your tethers like vines to swing on and stuff, and you're doing all kinds of crazy things. It's really fun to play together. It's the kind of game you're shouting at each other like, no, no, come on, this way, that way, come on, help me out. You're dropping the chariot down a pit and stuff like that. It's hilarious. So played a little bit more of that and going to keep working on that game because it's fun to do with a friend. So that's about it for me.
Nice. When Bayonetta came out for Smash, it reminded me that Bayonetta 1 exists. I'm like, oh yeah, I like the second one. I should really go back and play the first one, and then I'll have like one more game on my list to play. Even though I have like 10 Steam games, which don't register in my brain because I'm like, that means I have to sit on my stupid computer chair.
Yeah,
I probably won't even play them until I get the Steam Link thing, which like streams my games to the TV rather than just
yeah.
do anything else with it because I don't know, I'm lazy. But let's moving on. A couple of things were announced this week. Little Mac is coming back to Best Buy on February 10th, so if you want him, you can get him there. Um, all Amiibo are going to be compatible with Pokken Tournament, so
Woo!
yeah, but not
Too
in
bad I have
obvious,
none of mine open.
not in like a great way. It's just unlocking in-game items, which probably means like just nothing great, like here's money or something. Yeah, it'd be cool if they did something else with them, and it'd be kind of cool to see them make like amiibo of that style, but I don't really know. I kind of doubt it since it's coming out in March. I think it's early March or something, so it's only a month away. So if they had something, they would show it off by now, but I guess not.
Uh,
Um,
by
hmm?
the way, sorry to
No,
interrupt you,
no.
but what I thought was kind of notable for news that isn't Nintendo related,
Hmm.
is that Game Trailers is shutting down. I don't know if you guys saw that news.
No, shoot, game trailers is shutting down?
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm freaking
Ah,
out. That's right.
crap.
Like I should
they
visit this website. Yeah.
they announced that earlier today, and it's such a shame. I
Oh,
want
I
to talk.
was no, I was. It's
Obviously
like
not
the
Nintendo.
one other game website I like listen to stuff from.
Yeah, I really
Shoot.
I've been on game trailers probably for I don't know 8 years now at least. Ever since I started watching stuff on IGN and going to IGN, I probably started going to game trailers around the same time. I always love their reviews, their people. Used to listen to their podcasts, of course. People have kind of left or removed after I think Viacom bought them. I don't remember who it was.
Defy Media.
Um,
I only know
but
because they keep repeating it on their podcast. So
Yeah, but now they shut down and they're shutting down. It's really sad. I was looking at their Alexa trends, and just in the last year, they've fallen from about a 6,000 Alexa ranking to like 16 or 17,000.
mm,
So they just weren't looking like they were doing very well. I think they were up probably close to about 1,500. I think at one point. Um, so their traffic is has fallen pretty drastically, which is a shame. Um, it is a really good site.
crap. I never really went to their website. Uh, I don't know because I don't really go to whatever whatever. It's just not on my thing. But I've been listening to like their podcast for I think a year or more, and watching the Final Bossman because he's hysterical. He has my sense of humor, but oh, that sucks. I really liked watching them. Crap. Uh, it was bad enough when one
I
of
had
their
never used the site. I
members.
just saw a lot of people kind of bugging out about it earlier today.
Yeah, I know. One of the shows, mandatory update. Elise Willems left a couple of weeks ago. I was like, okay, and then yeah, they were joking about the website closing down like 2 weeks ago or something. Like, oh, this person left and got a job, but they're making fun of that and saying like, oh, all these other people are gonna leave and get jobs. But shoot, that really sucks.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a real shame.
I hope they can find a new
Find
website,
jobs.
make a new website together, kickstart it. Crap. Um, okay, I guess I'll move on without a segue. Um, so there's select indie games on the eShop that are 50% off until the 25th. So if you want some games, one of them was the game you were mentioning, Uno Clay, Chariot. That was on the list, and some other
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah, I think it's at like $7 or $8 right now, so that's really affordable for a good game like that.
Yeah, most of them are like $7 or $8, so that's cool. Um, People who like Undertale, which is apparently a lot, the game might come to Wii U or 3DS as someone in charge of Nintendo developer support contacted the creator, and another studio that did ports for Guacamelee and some other games was saying, yeah, we can do a port if you want. So if you're looking for that game and you don't want to get on Steam for some reason, um, you might get it eventually.
What kind of game is it? I don't know a lot about it.
It is an RPG. Mike says it's not like Earthbound. If you look at it, it kind of reminds me of Earthbound, just the battle system. Well, actually,
Interesting.
no, the battle system is kind of weird. There's like mini games instead of actual. I don't know. I don't think people can describe it without like apparently going into spoiler territory, as far as I've seen. So
Gotcha.
I don't know. Just look at a video of it because I don't
Gotcha.
really know how to describe it.
Gotcha.
I don't
Gotcha.
know how
I've
to
heard the
play it.
name around, but I haven't heard much about it, but that's interesting. Always good to have a few more things in the Nintendo calendar, so that's good to
Yeah.
hear.
So Pokemon Go is apparently going to be shown at GDC this year, which is between March 14th and 18th, so about like a month away from now. Um, and I think it's supposed to launch in the first or second quarter of the year anyway, so uh, we should be seeing that and getting some information on it, or more information on it soon. And quality of life apparently is still in the
Dead.
works. Kimishima's like, it isn't at the level of a Nintendo product yet,
Man,
so
I believed in that. I think on the podcast multiple times I said, no, they're still working on it. It's going to come out. They're just been quiet. They're coming up with a good thing, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't know if this is ever going to see the light of day. It's such a shame. I believed in it. I believed in it so hard.
I don't know. They haven't said it's dead yet, but they're still like, yeah, we don't really. It's not up to our quality or standards, so
I'm not
yeah, who knows?
surprised
It
to
could
hear
really
that.
go either way.
I'm not surprised to hear that. I mean, they've been so iffy about what it is and whether it's ever coming to see that, that it's in they're admitting it exists, but it's still in the works. I mean, I'm not shocked at all. This has been like, they would have given us something by now in all this time. I mean, it's sitting in one of the R&D developments and they don't have a use for it, and that's all there is to it. I was with you, Eli. I thought that we were going to see something from it eventually, and maybe we will, or maybe 20 years from now, part of it'll show up in something else, and that'll be how it ends up being a thing. So, hey, maybe it's the long game, like Nintendo's been playing forever, where little bits of things show up later down the road in their other products, and so it's not a lost experiment. It's just kind of hanging out, waiting for its time in the sun.
Mhm.
So,
Well, who knows? Because I thought Detective Pikachu game was never going to come out because it was announced like October 2014 or something, and it was supposed to come out in 2015, and like in January, I was talking about. I'm like, oh, I guess it's dead because it's past 2015 and we haven't heard a thing about it, and it was weird with mocap and a blue Pikachu was going to be in it, so I guess it's dead. And then like a week later they show a video for it, so silence doesn't necessarily mean it'll be dead, but I don't know. Who knows?
since not all of us know as much about this particular game as you guys likely do, could you guys give an overview of what it is? Because I've seen it floating around, and it's not a game I'm likely to play, but I'm curious. Like, what the heck is Detective Pikachu, and why should we care?
um it's I haven't really watched a lot of gameplay, but from what I get, it's a mystery solving or basically a detective game, similar to like Professor Layton and whatnot. You don't actually play as Pikachu. You play as the boy that looks like Christopher Robin from Winnie the Pooh. But Pikachu can go off and talk to other Pokemon, and report back to you with information. And apparently he does a couple of quips, like if you only talk to him when he says he has information, he'll be like, hey, you can talk to me the other stuff, and just kind of riff and that kind of stuff. So they gave him like a personality. Um,
And
yeah,
Danny
I'm not really
DeVito is
sure.
Danny DeVito's giving his voice, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
That's all I heard. Like, that's all I know about the game. Like, that everybody's like, and Danny DeVito's going to be in the game, and I'm like, no, he's
Yeah.
not. Give me a break.
No, there's like 20,000 signatures or something petitioning for it.
That's funny. That's funny. I live in Philly, so Danny DeVito's like this local celebrity, and because of that show that he's on. So,
Mhm.
not that I'm proud of the way that show depicts Philadelphia.
Always sunny.
Yeah, but he's like a local hero. Like, I'm like 1 degree away from him just because of weird coincidences where people are like always saying, "Oh, they met Danny DeVito, they saw him or something like that." So, if I see him, I'll add my name to the petition. I'll be like, "Yo, I don't even like Pikachu. Excuse me, I don't even like Pokemon, but Pikachu's cool. You should be his voice," and just see if the guy even knows about it. So,
Yeah, that'd be funny. I'd like to see Patrick Warburton. Um,
who's that?
he plays Joe Swanson on Family Guy and a
Oh,
bunch other
right.
animated characters.
Oh, that'd be cool. He's funny. Funny
Yeah,
voice. Cool, cool,
yeah.
cool.
So now onto some news. Apparently, Nintendo heard me complain last week because Kimishima said we'll get NX information that's not too late in the course of this year. I'm hoping it means sometime before E3 because we already know it's going to be E3. So saying we're getting information soon and then we only get it halfway through the year would basically be lying. But do you think there's any chance they'll actually like debut the console early, in like a direct, so that at E3 they just talk about the games rather than so like basically waste time on the console? Like it wouldn't be wasting time, but
You know, I've always been curious. Remember when Project Cafe, the code name came out?
mhm.
It was leaked and a bunch of details were leaked. I always wondered whether Nintendo leaked that intentionally, because companies leak stuff all the time intentionally.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if Nintendo wants to do a formal presentation, to reveal it beforehand, or whether they want to send some leaks through and to build up like hype. Because there was a hell of a lot of hype going into that press conference for the Wii U,
Yeah.
that first year. So I don't know. We're definitely gonna hear about it before E3, but I wonder if it's gonna be through leaks or through or through like an actual press conference.
I would say at this point, leaks would be kind of pointless because there have just been like the last year has been like leak central. So even if they
Yeah,
leak something, like how does anyone know that, oh, this might have more credibility? Because all the rumors going around are virtually the same kind of thing. Whereas I think uh, Cafe, I don't think the leaks were like this ridiculous, like seeing them so common, like every other week or something.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion on this. I mean, like, let me get your question straight. You're asking, do you think can you say your question again? I didn't quite understand. You're asking, do we think
Sure.
we see the NX in 2016?
Yeah, I'm saying, well, I think we'll see it regardless, but I'm saying, do you think they'll show it off and give some sort of presentation before E3 so that, at E3 they can just
Uh,
talk about the games to just kind of
before,
drum up
yeah,
hype early in the
I
year?
must have misunderstood the before E3. I don't know. I mean, no, no. If you want to vote, I'll vote no because they haven't shown up big time to E3 in a few years. And if Nintendo likes to do one thing, they like to surprise you.
Hmm.
So they'll flip it on its head this year and show up big time and like win E3. I'd like to believe that. I don't necessarily believe everything I just said, but you know, you heard it here first. Prime 4, Pikmin 4, Zelda 92, all of it. I mean, NX on launch day tomorrow. Like, and it's available to buy now, and it shows up in stores the same day. There's the ultimate coup d'etat.
Yeah, they
So,
pulled an apple.
yeah, like they have them secret shipments, like classic 90s console war style to all the stores ready to go the day of E3. So, no, but I don't know. I know what you're saying. Now I get what you're getting at, because they do their own, they make their own path to this stuff, but the timing feels right that the way we're getting the leaks and the way that it seems like the partition between us knowing more about NX and it being fully revealed is very very thin at this point.
Hmm.
I think we'll see the handheld at E3 and then the console that is going to attach to it at a later date. That we won't see the console. They're going to focus all on the 3DS replacement coming for Christmas, and then they're going to say, and then, in a year, we're going to debut the other half of this console, our next gen, full television length console. It's my guess, but, well, I don't know. It's an interesting question. I don't know if we'll see it before E3 though. So I bet they're rushing just to get anything together for June, given, that dev kits are kind of sound like they're out there now and who knows what state the actual hardware is in. So I don't know if they'd be ready to show something before June. It's time flies in business. There's only so much you can have ready.
Yeah.
So
Actually, going back to what you said, Eli, about leaks, I think the only thing they could leak now that would really get people's interest is an actual photo. Because we've
Yeah,
seen
well,
we've seen like
I wouldn't
different
put it past
patents
them.
and like
I
texts.
think there was a Wii U gamepad photo that was leaked
Yeah, there was.
before the E3 that year, so I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, that would be. You would have to do that if that was part of like their strategy. Because we've seen patents, we've seen text documents, other surveys and whatnot. So that's like
Hmm.
the last thing you need to do. So moving on, Kimishima said, yeah, Kimishima also said he wants more young developers and have them be in the public spotlight. So I'm thinking of something like, what was it, Triforce Heroes, where there's Enuma and then there's like the other guy beside him who said like, yeah, he was thinking of this idea of having three people play kind of like Four Swords again. And I think this is just them future-proofing themselves because like their bigger faces, Anuma, Shigeru Miyamoto, Tezuka are all getting kind of older and they're kind of prepping us for when either they quit or they die off or whatever, as harsh as that may sound. Um,
maybe we don't have to worry about that. That one of the R&D departments is working on a way to transmute Miyamoto's brain into a
A
Nintendo
cyborg.
cartridge, and
Yeah.
and keep them alive in AI form forever, and ever and ever. So, maybe not.
Actually, I just realized I'm not. Well, I wasn't surprised by this when I heard it anyway, but it makes even more sense after Iwata's passing that they're kind of like, oh crap, we didn't really expect that. We kind of got to put some other people in the spotlight because some of them are taking like a different roles and whatnot. So, and they're also training their younger developers to kind of take up their league. So, um, moving on. Apparently, more Star Fox stuff. It looks like there might actually be some trouble with Star Fox. So a couple of days ago, there were some rumors saying they were doubling down on the motion controls, which were causing them a bunch of problems. And I wasn't originally going to write that because who knows, it could have been rumors or whatever. But Liam from Unseen64, who uh, leaks a lot of stuff, he's really like into the industry, corroborated those same rumors and also thinks the game might be delayed again because they only have like 2 weeks before certification, and if they can't, fix the problems by then they're not going to be able to certify it and ship it and produce it.
Honestly, this news doesn't surprise me in the very slightest. I remember complaining last E3 when I was playing Star Fox about how the controls were screwed up,
Hmm.
and now they sent it off to Q&A. And like Miyamoto, was trying to do something really innovative, something really cool, and people just kept complaining about it, and they didn't listen. And now it got shipped off to QA, and now the QA people whose job it is to say it's screwed up are finally telling them it is, and now they got to listen to them. It's a shame because they spent so much time and money on making something innovative, um, when they maybe should have gone for something a little more traditional.
Well, the thing is, they said they were going to add traditional controls like a long time ago. Like that, they said, oh yeah, don't worry about motion controls. We're going to make some traditional ones for it as well. So it's like, okay. And they already delayed it, I think, like, what, twice now?
Yeah, yeah,
So
but
it's like, really?
even if
Like,
it's
oh man.
secondary, but even if they were like, oh, we'll have non-motion controls, but those are a secondary priority for us. Maybe, I mean, it's just significantly not as good as the motion controls.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess they don't want to put in busted controls as well. Like,
And
here's our
and I
motion controls. It sucks.
And I think it's sad because the very nature of the game requires you to utilize both screens, which is cool in one respect because the game, finally something is making you use both screens at the same time. But on the other hand, it's a pain in the ass,
Yeah.
to look if you got your gamepad down on your lap and the TV up, your eye level, and you're moving up and down constantly, always like maybe the Q&A people are getting neck aches. Like who knows, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, it's a tough balance for them to make because there's a very small handful of games I'd say I own like a solid three-quarters of the Wii U library, if not more. And the only games that leap to mind where you really do have to manage both screens, like Zombie U comes to mind partly because you have to panic and watch for incoming noise blobs like on your radar, and you have to you also have to be like managing your inventory, things like that. But then and the obvious one is Splatoon, because to be really good, you've got to be watching the map and checking where the ink is coming from on the map while you're looking at the TV at the same time. So yeah, it's a tough one to balance. I've thought about it tons because, there's only a small handful of games where it's been done really, really well. Like I said, I'm playing Watch Dogs right now, but it's only like a map, so you don't really have to look at it live while you're playing. You just look down when you need something basically. So, and you could probably just get away without using it very much at all. In fact, if you didn't want to, but
Yeah.
it's a tough one. I'd say they should delay it if it's not working right. I'm a big fan of a delay rather than a garbage game. You don't want that on your plate when it's one of the only games you got coming out this year, and I bet that's what they do if they can. If there's like any way to delay this and fix whatever's wrong with it, it's they've learned their lesson on how bad you get burned when you release a game that's underwhelming and the reviews get a hold of it.
Mhm.
Look what happens to Sonic games these days. The sales are so in the toilet, it's insane. Look what happened to what's that zombie or no, what's that really brutal killing game that sold like 400 copies at GameStop?
Devil's
Devil's
Third.
Third.
Devil's Third,
I
right?
don't think there are any zombies in Devil's Third.
Sorry, I don't even know what it's about. It was just so savage that it's like, nobody buys it because it's the reviews are so awful, and you can't really hide that anymore. So I say delay it. I love Star Fox. I don't want to see a bad Star Fox game. I don't want to have to play through a mediocre Star Fox game. I want it to be at least a B plus, kind of experience, so that
Yeah.
I can feel like, okay, now it's going to be another 3, 4, 5 years till I see another one of these, but I'm okay with this. It's got some replay value or whatever it is.
Well,
But
I'm thinking maybe the controls just aren't working for this type of game because they've already delayed it like 6 to 7 months. Because I remember writing that down specifically a little while ago. And if they delayed again like another 2 months, it's like you're gonna delay the game almost a year for basically like the controls. It's like maybe this game just isn't made for these controls, and you're just trying to jam something in there that doesn't really work. I don't know,
yeah,
because
that's a
the
shame. That's a
yeah.
shame if that's what it is, because I know that sounded like a really big idea to them, and how like Eli was saying, it was seemed like it was a darling for the team behind it, to like get this working. But
Yeah. And I mean, if you delay it this long and you don't have online multiplayer, which people have been, yelling and wanting for so long, it's like that's gonna look even worse. It's like you delayed it like basically a year just to fix the game, and then that's it. It's like I don't know. It's not gonna look good. I mean, it's not gonna look good if the controls suck either, but I don't know. They're kind of screwed either way. Um, so Nintendo's second mobile title apparently is going to feature one of their best known characters. So possibly Mario. I'm thinking it's not actually going to be Mario. It's going to be something else. Maybe like a top-down Link mini game of some sort, or um, I don't know. I'm just thinking one of the other big title or big faces of Nintendo might lend themselves better.
yeah, I have no opinion on that. Like, it's a shame because I'm too hip to have a smartphone.
Hmm.
So no, but in seriousness, I'm like kind of curious, but I'm positive this year we're going to see like Link and Mario on phones. That's
Hmm.
just all there's going to be. I mean, the next one should be Mario by rights. It should be some kind of platforming, free to start game, with
Hmm.
Mario in it. That's, gonna get people interested and get people paying attention. It's what it's got to be. Makes the most sense. They want to get people's attention on this. They can't afford another one of these dinky games that nobody cares about and have everyone stop taking them seriously on this front. They want to get one of the big ones. Got to be the second announcement.
Hmm. So my Nintendo, the confusedly named Club Nintendo replacement, is launching next month in North America and Europe and blah blah blah. And Mitomo's gonna launch alongside it. Um,
Wait, Matt. So are you telling me that Nintendo's marketing department badly named something?
I know, such a surprise.
They're usually so good about these things.
The Wii U, totally didn't confuse anyone. Um, I don't know why they named it. There's a Nintendo account and then there's a My Nintendo account. It's like just have it under the one account. Don't have separate accounts. God, it bugs me. But regardless, when it launches next month, Mitomo is going to launch this alongside it. Um, and they gave us some details about the reward system. So there's two type of points. Gold points are earned on a game console, so Wii U, 3DS, NX, etc., and they can be used towards coupons. And then platinum points are the ones you earn on the smartphone and apparently like logging in to certain accounts, and those can be used towards digital goods and apparently like wallpapers and some other stuff. Um, yeah, things like that. So seems pretty much the same, but whatever. We'll see it when it comes out.
You will see, won't we? Are you guys excited about this? Do you guys have smartphones? Are you guys excited about
I
this move?
sort of do. I have an iPad which gets all the same apps as an iPhone, but because the first generation, uh, it doesn't get like basically any of the newer stuff. I think past like firmware update 5 or 6 or something. So I don't know if any of this stuff will run on my iPad. I don't think Pokemon Go will at all.
Huh. What about you,
Um,
Eli? Are you going to be playing some smartphone Nintendo games or whatever?
yeah, I'll play them. I mean, I've got an Android, so as long as they're putting them on Android, I'll play them. I probably won't like them, but I got to do a duty to them, right? I got to give them at least the benefit of the doubt. They haven't let me down a ton over my lifetime yet. Like maybe this year was a little bit of a let down when they were putting out crappy Animal Crossing games.
Hmm.
That was a real letdown, but
Sure.
um, generally I'll probably give them the benefit of the doubt, and
That's a good attitude. That's a good attitude, man.
hopefully they're gonna put out some good games. They tend to do that usually.
Yeah, they do tend to put out something that's fun. I think me, it's like funny because sitting here on the sidelines, I'm torn because I'm like, I am known by my circle of friends and family not to be a smartphone guy. I love not
But
having
you
one.
gotta do it. You gotta betray it. You gotta
No,
you gotta
man.
be a hypocrite for once.
I don't want to no, I don't want to be a phone zombie like everyone walking around looking at their phone all the time. And I'm on a computer like 10 hours a day for my job already, you know. It's
Well,
like
you
I
could
don't
play it at home. You could sit down on the couch,
yeah.
break out the phone.
Yeah, yeah, I can be at dinner with my wife, texting someone who's not there at the table. It'll be
Gosh.
great. I'll look so cool. I'll be running into telephone poles and falling down manholes and stuff like that while I'm walking. You know, it'll be
I
great.
mean, there's the ice cream Pokemon. You could be going to an ice cream parlor instead of eating ice cream with your wife. You
Oh
could
my
just you
gosh.
can catch him.
You're just licking
Wait,
the iPad screen. You're
I
like,
can
look, it's
get
Yeah,
I can get
delicious.
Pokemon. I can get Pokemon. I'm in. Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm just torn because if it turns out this stuff is really, really rad, it's gonna be it's gonna be another chip in the wall, you know, like where it's like, everyone's talking about this new Pikmin game, you know, on the phones, you know, or whatever, and I'm gonna be sitting here without it. I mean, I could possibly do what Matt's talking about doing. My wife has an iPad, so if something really good comes along, maybe she'll let me borrow the iPad for a little while or something like that and check it out or something. But we'll have to see. It's interesting. I'm curious to see what comes. I can't say I wasn't a little gleeful when the first thing they announced was something I could care so little about that I can't remember the name for the life of me. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's got me's in it. I'm like, it's probably something to do with a me. I'm like, but I read the press release and was like, ha, I'm not buying a phone for that. What are you talking about? Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not
we'll
sure how that'll work because it's basically portable Tamagotchi life, and I don't think they really thought that was going to sell, and it sold like 4 million copies. So I'm guessing they're thinking, oh, this works well for this. It should be able to work on like a larger scale, but I don't know if the people in the smartphone space are really going to be as interested as the 3DS audience.
It's really
Um,
hard to say. Pricing will play a lot of a role in it. I mean, they've
yeah.
got to be doing the research on that right now. Like, what's the right price for a phone game?
Well, this one I know it's going to be free, and then you can buy
Right,
like little clothing items and whatnot after.
right. Sounds super fun. I wish I would play it.
It's really interesting to hear them, keep repeating like, "Oh, we really got to get smartphone games right," and blah blah blah. But on their console side, they're like, "Yeah, our fans keep asking for this and that, but nah." Proper accounts on the Wii U, maybe nope. Have this sort of hardware so it's like comparable and you can get third parties. I don't know. It's like, come on, take this business a little more. Take your console business a little more seriously. It'll be interesting to see the NX, especially after they claimed the Wii was going to be for gamers or for hardcore fans, and it's like, well, you lied about that. Let's see if you're going to lie for a second time. Um, I don't know. I'm just kind of burned on that. So moving on. Apparently, everyone and their mother is saying that Mother 3 is going to be localized. Um, I'm gonna guess it's called Earthbound Aftermath because I feel like it. The first one was Earthbound Beginnings, so it's like I don't know. Earthbound
Yeah, I was
Beginnings,
I was hearing
Earthbound Revelations.
some rumblings about that too. Uh,
They should not change the name though. They should call it Mother 3, or Earthbound 3 because they're just going to confuse people with Nintendo Classic, like giving something a crazy name. I mean, it won't matter in the end. People who know about what that game is are going to get it, and
Yeah.
that's going to be it. But I'm excited. Are you guys excited? I really liked Earthbound, the American Earthbound, which I guess is Mother 2.
Hmm.
I've never played the one that they released earlier this year or last year, for Earthbound Beginnings or whatever they called it. Because I heard it was just kind of like a rough sketch of what Earthbound proper became. So I'm excited to play 3 because people seem to say it's the best one, which is amazing. That's super cool. Like I don't even like games like that much, but Earthbound is one of those ones that stands out. You know, are you guys psyched if that comes over here? Have you played it already?
I have it downloaded because I don't remember if I bought it or if I got it as a deal or something like that. But I played a bit of it, and I don't know. I don't know if I can really go back to 2D RPGs like that. Like I like Mike and I were talking it before on a previous one, and there's a bunch of cool mechanics in it that I'm surprised not even RPGs today like actually implemented. Like if you're a much higher level than an enemy, you can just walk up to them and kill them, and you'll get like points and whatnot. Like you won't have to fight them and waste time because you're so much more powerful. But I don't know. There's just something about it that I don't think I could really sit there and play the whole thing. I think it's just I've gotten past that part. I don't know. There's just something about it where I'm like, yeah, I don't really think I can sit down and watch like these 2D sprites. Like I like 2D sprites, but I don't know if I could do it for an RPG.
What if it came to 3DS where it would make a lot more sense? Because that was my big complaint about Earthbound Beginnings. Like, why would I want to play this on a console?
Uh,
This is a portable game where I want to flip over
Yeah.
the system, play a couple battles, move on.
yeah,
You
it
know,
it wouldn't really matter to me because I'm at home
huh?
for the time being.
Right,
So
right.
it doesn't matter if it's on Wii or 3DS. I could be
Oh, okay,
playing on
okay.
either. It's just
Uh, I
I
just
don't know.
can't.
I don't think I think it's that the battle system is so just visually uninteresting. Like there's not enough action going on. Like I don't. That's why I think I might not be able to play through the old Pokemon games when they come out. Like I kind of want to go to Pokemon Yellow, but they might just be too basic where I'll just be like I'll just get bored of it halfway through. Be like, okay, I've seen this one animation like a bajillion times. It's kind of boring and repetitive. Like I think I've just moved past it, kind of
I
thing.
hear you. It's funny because like I come at it from the other side, being a guy who doesn't play RPGs virtually ever. Um, that when I play something like Xenoblade, or that's probably the best example I can give because I play so few of them that I tried Xenoblade like a couple of years ago. It was probably the
Hmm.
last major attempt I made to play a modern RPG. Um, I get overwhelmed, I would say, by it, and I get I get turned off to the game because, as sometimes I've mentioned, perhaps I tend to not like when a game makes me feel like I can't finish everything in it, or I just like
Hmm.
maybe a little more of a linear, action-driven game with direct, immediate challenges. I don't,
Well,
you know what I
with
mean?
that attitude, you won't finish the game.
Yeah, no, I know. It's a bad attitude. I like something a little more directed, maybe in a lot of games. Watch Dogs being a kind of unusual example, since I was talking about that earlier, where I'm enjoying kind of a more free roaming experience, and I think I enjoy that because it's mostly an action game with a sandbox around it. Whereas an RPG like Xenoblade or something like that, I hear what you're saying about like an Earthbound, where it's like, oh, you watch the animation, this is kind of boring, and you do it 5,000 times before you finish the game. I have to be honest, I felt the same way about Xenoblade, and I know that's heresy to people because I was like, wait, so this whole game is just me watching these little circles refill, and then when they're full, then I can do the move again, and like, then cycling through my characters as fast as I can, like trying to make sure I time it right. I can understand what you're saying.
Hmm.
Is I guess my point. I maybe there's some charm about those old kind of RPGs that once in a while one of them can get me in if it has a good plot or something like that. So if it comes to 3DS, I'll be way more excited. If they announce it for Wii U, I know I'm getting grown internally because I'm like, I do not want to sit on my couch and play a game like that. I want to play that on the go.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's just I don't really want to see 2D sprites for like an RPG because it's so long. Um, I think I just want to see more 3D stuff because it's just more interesting. And I'm really excited I really want to get Digimon Cyber Sleuth because that looks like a really cool RPG and I like Digimon. Um, I don't know. I haven't really played some Digimon stuff in a long time, so it'll be cool to play that eventually when I get a PS4 and it won't be 80 bucks. That's just too bloody expensive.
Yeah, Canada, your prices suck.
Oh yeah, it's horrible. I forget. Someone was like, "Oh, here's my 2 cents on something," and they're like, "What is that American like point like a hay penny?" It's so bad. And there's not really much else, but this is kind of weird news. Pokemon Red and Blue soundtrack are coming to vinyl. I don't know the deal with game companies lately. I think there's a conspiracy. The Pokemon Company is releasing something on vinyl. Rare released a couple of soundtracks on vinyl for Rare Replay and whatnot. Maybe they're gonna make like record players and start raking in the money.
That's really funny. That's a very small Venn diagram of people. It's like hipster meets like old school game nerd who wants a Pokemon, listen to me how I say it, Pokemon vinyl record. That's hilarious. I have a few vinyls, but I don't even have a working record player anymore. So kind of like the music in Pokemon is notably good to even someone like me who doesn't play it. So
Yeah.
if you guys are psyched about that, I'm happy for you because I have a few playlists in my YouTube channel where I just was like blown away by how good the music is in that series, and especially I think the Game Boy and the really early ones were my favorites overall, actually, since I really like chiptune music of that style. So it's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was weird that a couple of companies are making vinyl. I'm like, how many people? Like, I wrote in the comments, I'm like, how many people actually have like record players anymore? Like,
Oh,
it would
it's huge.
really?
It's humongous down here. Maybe it's not as big where you live, but Eli, is it big at your college? Do college kids have records these days? Probably not in the dorms or whatever.
You'd be surprised. There's definitely it's a thing. It's not a huge thing, but like the kid that lives across from me has a record player,
Hmm.
and I know a kid downstairs that has one too. So they're definitely around.
That's tough in a dorm room, man, because your collection is just like so big and bulky from what I've seen in
Yeah,
my
they
friends'
usually
house.
keep them in like crates and stuff.
Totally,
Hmm.
totally.
Yeah, because I was writing a comment like, oh man, I doubt there's too many people with record players, and someone was like, what are you, 15 years old? I'm like, what? I'm like, record players came out like 50 to 60 years ago. Like, how am I 15 years old?
That's so funny.
I'm like, are you ridiculous? I'm like, my parents had a record player. I didn't say I hated record players. They're actually cool. I wish they didn't get rid of it. I think that it might have been busted or something. It's like I
That's
didn't
super
say.
funny.
I didn't say, but I'm like, I'm 24 years old. I know what a record player is. I grew up with VHS for crap's
That
sake.
that is super
Betamax,
funny.
laser discs, floppy drives.
That is
Like,
super funny,
jeez.
man. Like that
A
the way that you
15-year-old would
describe.
not know what a record player is.
Well, it's so funny because the commenter and you are so at odds. Like your answer, had you stopped to have a conversation, it would be like your answer is, "Well, I live in a region of the world where maybe they're not as big right now." And his was like intended to be like, "What are you so out of the loop? You have no idea." Yeah, there's like a vinyl store on my block. Like I'm not even joking. I could
Yeah.
walk a quarter of a mile and be inside a store with like 2,000 records for sale. It's a big some people say it's a hipster thing, but I disagree with that around here anyway. It's like people who consider themselves like really into music. It's what you get into kind of because they have a very strong opinion that it sounds better.
Hmm.
Just like we have pretty strong opinions about really nuanced things like which shoulder buttons on which handheld are the best ever,
Yeah.
and it seems really nerdy to outsiders. But I've tried to get into it. I had a record player for a while, and it was cool. It does make you appreciate music more because you have to actually pay attention to what you're playing rather than just putting it on and forgetting it.
Hmm.
I haven't been able to detect the difference, but personally exactly. But I don't own like a $2,000 record player like some people invest in, so maybe that's the difference. But yeah, that's it's cool about the Pokemon records anyway. So that's a neat tip. I'll have to think if any of my friends that are into games would be the kind of people who'd want to know about that little tidbit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Um, that was all the news I had. I didn't know if you guys heard anything different you wanted to share.
I heard that I am
Like
gonna
if you're
kick
not,
some butt
no.
in Smash.
If not, no worries. I just wasn't sure if anyone else heard something they wanted to bring up.
No, I think you drilled down across everything in the news this week. That I had
Yeah,
just heard that game
just
that
say a silent prayer for game trailers.
yeah, I
Yeah.
just that right.
I
I can
you
start.
reminded me again. I forgot about it reading the
Let's go
news.
out on a sad note. So a favorite
Uh,
website is dead. I used to have to play that at
uh,
funerals. It's a horrible story for another day, but I was a trumpet player back in the day. So if you want me to get out the trumpet
Jeez.
and play it into the computer, I can do this.
No, that's not necessary. I'll just cry in a pillow. So I guess that's it for this week. You can find me at the Mango Viking on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And Eli, where can people find you?
Paula Salon on Twitter and find my writing at nintendoenthusiast.com.
Cool. Check out for his Fire Emblem Fates review.
Yeah, that'll hopefully be up by the time the game comes out next Friday.
Looking forward to it, man. I look forward to seeing what you think of it after you've had to bang your head against it for a whole week. You're going to be going crazy, I have a feeling.
Seriously.
Either that or whenever you have a conversation in real life, you're going to like feel like it's two heads going back and forth, like saying words to each other
Yeah.
with like over dramatic facial expressions occasionally, So, um, cool. Yeah, I'm Uno Clay, and I'm Uno Clay1 on IGN, and say hi.
Cool. So wherever you're listening, you can find us at Just Another Castle on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, iTunes, Podomatic, and IGN. You can leave us your questions in the comments or send us an email at justanothercastle@gmail.com. Or if you want to be a guest, you can message me on Twitter at the Mango Viking again. So see you next time, and leave gaming to Nintendo.